Welcome to another episode of the Indy and Dots podcast. This week, we discussed the following with Sunny Dhap: how he created Jumprov, where it came from, his experience on the Barclays advert of Money Manager, and what it's like performing in front of a green screen. Some guys would think that he's in the Avengers performing, but no, it's a different world, different game. And also details on their next event and just the great work that Jumprov and improvisation shows are doing in Birmingham. Follow through to find out more. Cheers. What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Indy and Dots podcast. We are joined by a special guest. He is an actor, comedy improviser, and he is passionate about representation. That's all he gave me on his bio, so I'm going to add a bit more. He runs an improv show called Jumprov, which is running every month or so in Birmingham. To find out more, head over to jumprov.com or type in Jumprov on Instagram to find out about their next show and how you can buy tickets. But he's the main guy behind it all, and his name is Sunny Dhap. Sunny, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on, guys. I'm excited.
No problem. Thank you for coming on, man. We've both been to your many improv shows, so no better place to start, Sunny, than to tell us, how did you start off Jumprov, man? We all know it was born out of the Birmingham Improvisation Where are you
flying to, man?
Mate, I'm flying everywhere tonight, right? Yeah. So it was born out of a festival that happened in Birmingham, and you saw there was a lack of representation. So tell us your next steps from there onwards.
Yeah. So straight up, man. So it took a while for it to hit in as well before I realized the holy cow, like I'm the only brown person in the room.
Yeah.
So, I was there, I was sitting in the audience. I helped organize the festival, Birmingham Improv Festival. It's happening wherever I could. And I didn't notice it. Until it was like the last day of the 3-day festival, when it kind of just dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. We're in Birmingham, such a diverse city.
Massively diverse, yeah.
Yeah, massively diverse. Like, where is everyone? Why come people don't know about this? How come, black and brown people don't know about this amazing fun art form? And then from then I thought, you know what? Might as well start something. And from then I didn't want to do something which was like, oh, let's sit down and talk about it. I was like, let's do
something in it. Yeah.
There we go. Nike. Yeah, because a lot of things I find is a lot of people are just always saying, oh, let's talk about, like, it is important to talk about things. But at that time I thought, let me just get something together. So basically I just putting calls out on social media. I said, look, setting up an improv group exclusively for black and brown people who wants in. And my thing was to, first of all, find people who've never done it before, because that was something interesting for me as well. To find people who basically you're passionate about representation as well. That was a massive thing as well. And I think those are the two things I was selling it on when I was like trying to invite people in, and people that were like getting like to get along as well, because it's kind of interesting as well. Like, I haven't done anything like this before when I set it up about like 5 years ago, and it's interesting because a lot of people are like, a lot of actors are like scared, we don't want to do the improv, and some other actors are like, we're scared but we still want to do it. Like, we've never done anything like this, we've never done any performing, or we want to do it. So
why would actors not want to do improv? What's the connotation with improv?
So it's basically it's the idea of, as an actor, you got your script on stage,
right?
When you film, you know everything inside and out. And I think a lot of people do normally, when they're prepping for a character for theatre and film, they end up doing a lot of improv work to help build around it. But then your scripts, your lines.
You know what to expect, basically, on it.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes people, not all actors, some actors love it, when something goes wrong on stage, and they can just improvise a line, they can do something. But most people fear it. And it's that thing about being when you're not comfortable somewhere. And this is what we find when we've been like doing improv, and like it's about just being outside your comfort zone, which is, you kind of realize amazing things happen. Fun things happen when you're not 100% comfortable, and you just go for it, see what happens. And I suppose it's kind of lowering the stakes on yourself as well, because sometimes I think
expectation.
Exactly, yeah. Like we're in a world where everything's all serious, and it's great just to do something which is just fun. But I'm going back to your question. So from that point, man, I realized there's a lack of representation, and I thought, okay, got to get a team together. found some people who are based in Birmingham as well. That was an important thing for me as well.
Yeah, they got to be local.
Exactly, yeah. Obviously for logistics as well in terms of meeting up and rehearsals, but also because I wanted something for the city as well, like city of Birmingham. Because anytime what I found was, the arts industry, it's heavily London dominated.
Yeah, I did think the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which I ain't got issue with. It's just that obviously, like when you're pioneering for what Jumprov is, and it's like the UK's first all black and brown improv group. It's great to say that. Well, that started in Birmingham. You know what I mean? That started in Birmingham. That movement started there. So I basically put a call out, got some black and brown improvisers together, and we just started jamming. Took some counsel from like other improv tutor as well, John of the Box of Frogs as well, just to get an outside eye. And then from that point, we learned a few games. Then we started developing our own games as well. And then
So when you say games, these are the things that when we attended the show, you had the different like,
so
skits, as it were.
Skits, yeah. So they call them skits, sketches, or games.
Right.
And it basically came to a stage where we were not only finding games or different sketches to do, we were also developing loads of our own different sketches. Nice. And the thing is, like, for me as well, like the fact that like bilingual, I can speak 2 languages, possibly even 3. Not me anyway, but you guys possibly even 3. Bringing that into as well, like bringing our own experiences, our own heritage on the stage as well. And I developed a game which was based off an original improv game, but then we kind of put our own twist on it. And the idea of this game was called in the end it started off. The original improv game is called Gibberish Lecture, and the idea is one person talks gibberish and the other person translates the gibberish, and then that's where the comedy comes from, where it's like one person speaking gibberish, other person translating it to English, and it's like an expert on whatever. And I thought, what, I want to do something like that, but I also want to bring like a mother tongue into it as well. You know what I mean? So I said, let's do something which became known as Punjabi TED Talk, where you got one person who's speaking Punjabi, and it's a test for my levels of skill as well, how much Punjabi I can speak. Because when you're there chatting it, the only thing I can do is speak Punjabi. Obviously, a few of the English words do make it through, because sometimes your mind goes blank. You're thinking, what's the Punjabi word for, I don't know, honey or something?
Yeah. High level Punjabi, man.
So it happens. And the idea was that, okay, we bring some of ourselves on the stage, we bring some of our heritage on the stage as well. And the idea is, even with that game as well, we're not laughing at, there's someone speaking in an Indian accent. We are laughing at the fact that this guy here is in on the joke. He's talking about some random thing, but he's talking about in Punjabi. Right. And then the other element of the comedy comes from the person is translating it. They got no idea what's happening. Yeah. And they are just making up their own thing of what this person's saying.
So, for example, if we did this now, Sonny, and I start speaking Punjabi, you would make up English, but you wouldn't be translating what I'm saying. You'd make up your own random stuff.
Exactly, because obviously it'd be more difficult as well for us, because we obviously understand Punjabi as well.
I see. You do it with somebody who doesn't understand the language.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say as well. So when I say translate, I mean translate in air quotes. So we do it with non-speaking Punjabi.
That's brilliant.
What we find is, though, weirdly enough, when you're there, like you're talking about something and you put your actions behind it, and like you see the intentions and the emotions,
the gesturing.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of our other players, English-speaking players, they translate it more or less word for word.
That's interesting.
To the point
because they can get it through the physical like actions and stuff, can't they?
Exactly, yeah. And that's the scary bit. But what we found as well is that particular game is that when we do have Punjabi-speaking audience members, they just love the fact that first of all, I'm just making up whatever, and that's got a story element to it as well. And then they love the fact that the other person's misunderstanding it and they don't get it. There's what they're coming out with, and the fact that you're basically getting like another level of comedy through that as well. But that's an example of basically us guys were taking games from the traditional improv art form, which was historically it's just been really white. It's been white and middle class.
And how long has improv been, a genre of comedy? Yeah, how long has it been going on?
This usually when I start googling something. It's been well, I know this. It's been out there for a while. There's this guy. It started in like Second City, Chicago. It was like this
Okay.
theater, and this
Okay.
guy called I think it was Dalclose or something like that. Anyway,
We're gonna believe you either way, man. This is good improv. It's fine.
You
Go
can
on.
tell me anyone's name and I'll believe you, my friend. So
yeah, I know. But the other thing you say it's gonna get reference checked. And be like, wait a
someone's
minute,
gonna clip it.
this man doesn't know what he's talking about. But no, the idea was started off as an art form, and the reason why it was an important art, well, it still is an important art form, especially what we're doing as well of having black and brown stories, is the fact that it's the quickness it goes on stage. There's no sitting down and just writing reams and reams, and then that piece is going to get edited again, and then someone else is going to be like, oh, I don't think we should put that in there. The fact that we can take literally your guys' experiences or our experiences of what we've had or of something and bring it straight on stage. Obviously, it's going to be unfiltered. Obviously, it's going to be raw. But then obviously that's the beauty of the art form as well.
Comedy.
I think exactly, and I think that's the importance of it. And as I said as well, it's a great tool. I know a lot of people have used it. Even myself, and when you're prepping for roles, you use that because it helps you understand your character deeper as well. So obviously, it takes your character from the few scenes that your character's in. You basically form an actual 3D living life out of the character, and that's why it's so important as well. And there's so many other levels to it as well in terms of enjoying the art form for what it is. But I think the thing that we found is that, as I said as well, a lot of people didn't know what it was, and that's been kind of the barrier as well for us to. It's very niche, so we have to always say to people, look, this is what it is. And then sometimes you got to reference things like TV shows, like improv on TV. It was like something like whose line is it anyway?
Okay.
And that's a lot of people don't like. I don't know if you guys heard of that show or.
I haven't heard of that.
I
But
have, yeah.
The US Office with Michael Scott. There's an episode where actually the guy from Hangover, the Chinese guy, Mr. Chen.
Yeah.
He's in there, and I remember watching that, and I was like, this is really funny, man. Like. And then obviously I knew what improv was, but you don't see it. I don't see it mainstream. I'd never before your show. I'd never go to see an improv show. I would never have thought that.
There are some famous scenes in Hollywood though that are just completely done improv. So the end
Joker.
of, I don't know if that was
when he gets in the fridge. Okay. When he gets in the fridge, that was unscripted completely. Yeah.
So that's unscripted. There's also stuff where what's that film? Love Actually. At the end of the film, not at the end of the film, where the president, what's the guy's name? Hugh Grant, is it? He does that whole dancing scene around the entire number 10. That was all done improv, and he said, I'm only gonna do this in one take. And he did it in one take, and that's it. And that was all improv. No one knew that, but it came out afterwards that was a matter of fact thing. And it was done very well. So it can show that improv definitely has a place when it comes to mainstream acting as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing as well. And I attended like a workshop ages ago, and the teacher there was saying as well, he said that, look, some of the best moments that are on screen or that have been shot in screen have been completely improvised. And that's because the person or the actor is actually living that moment that's being captured.
Yeah.
They're not just there like, oh, I'm saying my lines and I'm dead up here. They're literally fully in the scene.
They're fully present. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a massive thing that you have to be. And I think it helps. What we find in acting as well, there's so many theories about how to be present, and one of the ones that stuck with me for a while was this idea of it's this lady called Patsy Rosenberg. She talks about this thing called the second circle,
right?
And she says that there's 3 levels of circles of like our energy, and the idea is that basically you got the first circle, which is very like more or less you're kind of having a conversation with yourself. Like you just you don't want you're saying something, but you don't really want to connect with someone. You're just thinking to yourself, innit? And then you got your third circle, which is very, your energy is very out there. It's like it's not. You're kind of like it's the idea of someone's idea of being confident, which is just all wrong. Which is like chest out, head out, and just trying to shout loud, and they're trying to like the best way I can see is someone just trying to like. Trying to be dominant, but they're not. You kind of just like giving off bad vibes. And then the circle, which is the circle where most people connect, is the second circle, and that's when you are fully in you're fully like connecting with the person who's across you, or who's in the scene with you, or is there in real life. And they say that most of the times you probably see that in real life is when like you go on a date with someone, like
You can
that's
feel the
thing
connection, or if it's
Exactly.
not there, like the clunkiness.
if there's a connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if.
and you always got to make yourself really present. And I think that's the thing where like what I've been doing improv, what I've been acting as well, and even in real life as well. You begin to realize that there's lessons you can take from these things and put it into real life. But in the end, throughout everything that I've been doing, I've learned that for myself anyway, that everything's a people business. So you learn how to talk to people, how to be fully there when someone's talking to you. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's difficult to do because you got like a million things on your head. You're like, oh, what do I need to do? Or sometimes it's tough as well because you so used to. I'm so bad at this, and I gotta stop myself. You're looking at your phone as well. So
when someone's speaking to you, you're like, yeah. You're acknowledging them, but you're not really acknowledging them.
Exactly, yeah. And like for me, it's always just like putting away my phone. Like even when I'm on dates, man, I put my phone away and just fully focus on the person.
You've got to do it, man. And look, it doesn't change after you get married. Like my wife will be like, okay, you gonna put your phone down? Phone is down now. You ready to give me attention? Literally, this is how it goes now. And I am ready to listen.
I can imagine Shindy doing that. I can imagine her doing that for sure.
Yeah. Are you ready? You ready? You remember?
You ready now?
You're ready to listen now. That's exactly how I should say it. But no, that's really important. I like your point there, Sonny. I'm going to pick up on that about rapport. Essentially, that's the word I would use from a kind of patient doctor relationship, or even with colleagues as well. It's like as soon as you get instant rapport and you connect on that level, everything becomes easier. And I'd say as I get older, I realize the same thing as you, that this is all a people game, man. If somebody likes you, they want to give you an opportunity. It's very easy for them to do that. It's just a handshake and then it's done. And that's what it all really comes down to. These doors are open, opportunities are open up based on that. Does somebody like you? Do you connect with them on their level? Have you got some similarity? And that's it. When you say I can apply things from improv into real life, apart from the rapport element and your ability to form connections, what else have you found? Like, does it mean like you're more relaxed, are you more chill? Can you just kind of go with the flow? Like, give me some of that. I'd
assume it give you like confidence in like a new atmosphere, like all the time, because you're like, I can just go in. Essentially, it kind of is improv, isn't it? When you walk into something, you don't know what to expect. You're just going into it. You're like, oh, okay. I guess every time that we have a new conversation with someone, it's relatively, I guess it comes under the category improv, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think this is a thing where we don't realize that we're doing these things day in, day out, chatting away. But as soon as someone's, and it is difficult though, as soon as someone said, okay, do that on stage, in a fake scenario.
Yeah, you freeze.
We do. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine when I first started doing this ages ago, before I set the group up, it was the same as well, because it just wasn't something we do. And I think as well, like another thing, even that as well, like we don't realize that's everyone has their ups and downs in terms of when they're feeling they want to connect with people, or when they're feeling that they're on something or off something. And it's just sometimes just about just acknowledging when you are doing that, realizing, okay, what's happening, and just getting it back into tune with that. But in terms of other things that I can take from real life, to be honest with you, most of it does come down to actually like listening to what someone's saying. It is down to the rapport. And you're right, Indy, as well. You're saying that you do go into a situation, you do feel that confidence. Don't get me wrong, man. You've got to prepare as well.
Yeah.
For example, when I go into interviews, like I prepare like crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
have you ever just gone to an interview and thought, let me just improv it?
you know, I'm thinking when you're speaking, I'm thinking like Sonny is Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. He just turns up here. He's like, right, I'm a pilot today. I'm a doctor today.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO today. I'm the prime minister today. He just turns up.
So it's this thing where like you got to prep, and then the idea is, I mean, I like to call it you basically free fall, where you prepped everything and then you just basically just jump, and then when you're free falling and you prep, but and you're free falling, you kind of like it's so much of a better like. Is
that why it's in the name, Jumprov?
Well, exactly, yeah, because the name behind that was, the idea was that it's a mix between the word jump and the word improv. So you just jump in for it, you just go for it. Like, you don't, and a lot of that I apply for myself, in terms of my a long life mantra as well. If I see an opportunity in terms of if it's a job, it's like a non-acting job like NHS work that I do as well. I say, I just go for it, apply, because they can only say no. That's the worst thing they can do.
Yeah.
And I always say to like a lot of the other things that I do as well, it's always trying to help people to, take it from whatever job that they're in, if they're looking for work, to help them with applications or mentor them or like do mock interviews with them as well, because it's hard out there, like especially now, I know, in terms of like high cost of living. Just because I've got a lot of people who I see that like really hard working, and you think to yourself, you know what, they probably not had that experience of just talking about themselves. A lot of people don't.
It's really odd. Like someone asks you like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your best qualities?
So you're right. Interviews are such a weird artificial setting, and you're right. Where else do we get that chance to talk about ourselves? But I think what we find as well is in doing the acting work as well, that you just get, if you can't sell yourself, man, like who else is in it? That's what I kind of realized in my life as well. So, and I know like a lot of people have listened to this thinking these are like cliched mantras, but they're so true. Like there's a reason why they've been around for a while.
Wolf of Wall Street, man.
Let's not get into that.
Sonny's there like this. I'm not leaving.
But to be honest, even when I was setting this up as well, Jumprov as well, like a lot of people hadn't heard the idea. A lot of people didn't know, why is this important? So
what's the answer to that? When people ask, why is this important? What do you say to them?
So absolutely. So Jumprov's important because it helps to basically helps us guys bring stories to an audience that don't get to see themselves usually on stage, don't get to usually hear stories, and also hear the stories that are completely different, and they're not told in from a stereotypical point of view,
right.
And they're not they're featuring joyous moments as well. So it's always comical.
The lens of comedy, I think is what it is. Because
Exactly.
I mean, there's things you bring up. There obviously is a serious element to them as well, right? Like racism. Let's take racism for example, right? Like probably not affected us much, but when our families came over, they probably subject to that kind of thing. But when you guys put like a bit of a slant on it, a bit of comedy on it, say like Sukojala, we went to see her live, and she was like, oh, there's one Gora in the room, and she's like, now you know how we feel. It's funny, like everyone just laughs on it, but it's a serious issue, but you've made it funny and people can start relating to it.
Yeah.
And based on your show, like the stuff you were bringing up, like I remember you did a skit and you mentioned like Sohrod, like straight away, man, I was there, man. I think it was your bit. I think you were doing the TV channel, you're doing Sohrod, and I was like, my God, this is so relatable. And there's a lot of Gore in the show as well, and they must have been like, oh, is that what Sohrod? They've seen Sohrod, but they probably don't.
But they don't understand the connotation and the culture.
Be brown in it, yeah. And then Sonny's adding that kind of comedy to it, and they're just like, yeah, that's it. So you're right. It's complex things that you're taking, but then you're just putting a slant on it.
And another thing as well is that when I started my acting career as well, what I found was that a lot of times that they ever wanted to feature black and brown people on stage was around like very heavy, serious topics, and it wasn't just something like
Okay.
it was either like just really heavy, serious topics. And I thought we just want a place where we can just go and just clown around, say some stupid shit, have a laugh, and just enjoy ourselves, enjoy it with the audience. And that's another reason I wanted to do comedy as well, because like I absolutely love like watching comedy, and it's just so much fun as well. And I think that's the thing. That's why it's important, because when else do we get to see random stuff that we can relate to in terms of like sorrow, for example, mentioned on the rep stage, and the Hippodrome stage, mentioned on the stages of Birmingham. We never get to see that unless it's a very special project that got set up that's been 6 months in development.
Yeah.
Which I think there's another thing why I definitely want to set it up as well, because we as taxpayers are paying into the arts, but it needs to be, they need to put on shows that are that's going to serve the audience. So Birmingham such like Birmingham is a very diverse city, so the theatre should be looking at there thinking, wait a minute, we want some stories from a South Asian background, but they shouldn't just give us something which is like, oh, here's one South Asian play a year. They should say, wait a minute, even within the South Asian community,
not the token thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's so many different cultures there as well. Like, you know, an experience of a British Indian Sikh person is going to be different from a British Bengali Muslim person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Both very
There's so
different
many
things.
things within our cultures, and it's that thing where, like, look at India, for example. Like, everyone knows, like, kind of massively diverse in terms of language, cultures. That is, you know what I mean?
Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah. You even go to like the states of the Punjab, and one side of Punjab is a bit similar, but a bit different from another side of Punjab.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own little thing.
One second. Where are you from, man? Duaba, Duaba.
No, so I'm from I think it's Nakodar in it. So some small pens in Nakodar in it.
So you Duaba, Malwa, or what's the other one? Moga. There's only 3 regions. Oh, you need Jalandhar side.
Yeah, I think so. I think where's Nakodar, man? I got no idea. I'm from Nakodar.
What is the liquid you pour into cereal? The white liquid, what's it called in Punjabi?
Dod
Okay. Where do Sikhs pray?
in a Gurdwara.
Okay, Tika, I was checking your pronunciation. It was a soft, it's fine. You didn't do the whole dad and Gurdwara. You didn't do the
All right, okay.
the hardcore name. Sorry, you're cool.
The
Man,
hardcore stuff.
That's amazing. That's an amazing ability to have, man. So you can, just imagine you going around asking everyone what you pour in your cereal.
And say in Punjabi. Say in Punjabi.
That's the only way you can figure it out. That's amazing.
Amazing.
But no, you're absolutely right. So I think that's why it was that's the important thing about it. And I think it's amazing, like how, you know, audiences just came up and just like supporting us as well. Like, you know what I said, it was quite a bit like a thing of like trying to sell it to people, like, look, this is improv comedy. And it was kind of like, when we explained it to them that, look, this is completely made up on the spot, things can go wrong. A lot of the audience members like, yeah, we want to go and watch it because
there's a margin for error and there's an element of surprise. Yeah,
exactly. That's it, man. So I think a lot of people either want to watch it and it's going to be something amazing and beautiful, or they want to watch it and it's going to be a car crash.
But they're still having fun, aren't they? Yeah. There's that place any there's a company the play that goes wrong.
Yeah.
Which obviously it's not improv because it's scripted, isn't it?
It's good. It is scripted, but it's still good because they.
But it is funny.
It's going wrong. Yeah.
It is funny. It's clearly not improv, but yeah.
No, I think they might have bits. I haven't seen it myself, but it's been one of the things. I think they got some shows coming to Birmingham as well. But it's one of those kind of things that the idea as well with Jumprov as well was to, first of all, be a stepping stone for people to come in, exercise their improvisation skills, hopefully inspire people to, you know, write stuff as well. Hopefully inspire people to just, you know, try other forms of comedy as well. And the idea was that, that's another thing, is that there was no space that we could just come and just do that as well. So I looked at like people from old, like, you know, you have like the Monty Python group, them guys had a space where they could go in, do a bit of comedy and realize that, okay, this is my style of comedy and this is where I want to go. And I think that's, you know, that was kind of the thing that I wanted to have here as well, was a space where black and brown people come together. Cultivate. It's quite a melting pot of ideas. People just go up as well. I think another thing that I really enjoyed as well was, you guys watch that show called The Impractical Jokers?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it's the US one with like Sal and Joe, and well, not Joe anymore, but
it used to be the 4 guys together. Yeah.
And that was another inspiring thing as well. And like just seeing how those guys were basically, and the thing I loved about those guys was that they were doing improv, but they were doing it in a prank setting, and it was, the comedy wasn't them guys taking the mick out of other people. The comedy was them guys being self-deprecating. Exactly. And I think that was very interesting for me as well to watch and just see that. And I think that was the main things behind like this, man, like in terms of Jumprov, was having an idea, a simple idea with lots of energy, and just making, like, you know, when you realize that you got the combination of a simple idea, loads of energy, you can get stuff done. And, you know, recently as well, like we've been hitting shows at the Hippodrome as well, and it's been great, like the audience, you know, feedback and people coming out to support us like yourselves as well. It's been great. And I think you know, we are always trying to push ourselves as well, trying to create some interesting different things for people to watch, for people to enjoy. But no, it's been good, man.
Sonny, to piggyback on the back of the comments about everything being improv and no rehearsal side of it, what do you guys rehearse in rehearsals then? If it's all sort of just like you ask the audience, give us topics, and they give you topics. I know there's some things that maybe like have been worked on that you want to sort of exercise. So where do you find that line?
Yeah.
So we, as I said as well, so they in the type of comedy that we do, the type of improv, it's called short form improv. And the idea is that they are sketches that either got limitations on there, or they got like a particular way you got to play them. And so we basically, first of all, we want the show to obviously be entertaining as well. And it is what it is. It is improv. So we basically, just like an athlete, just warming our minds up, warming our bodies up. So we can basically take a scene from just a few, like basically turning up to 11 is what I'm trying to say. So we can take a scene from something which is like ha funny to, the idea is to get it to where it's hilariously funny. But obviously we wouldn't, for example, preset anything. Like all we're doing is literally learning how that mechanism works. But obviously it's improv because the topics and everything we're doing with you guys as audience members, that is fresh on the day. So all we know is that, okay, this is how this mechanism works, but there's so much room for error. And that's why it's still like, I think you got that adrenaline rushing through you as well. So your mind's going like a million miles an hour. You're like literally high on adrenaline. And you just basically just trying to get that, trying to nail that sketch, trying to nail the nuances of the scene. So I think in terms of, that's what we're basically just getting ourselves in tune with what that sketch is.
Yeah.
And just figuring out, trying to like open our minds a bit more and relax ourselves as well. Because I think there's some games that I still do, which are like, or the sketches that I still do, which kind of, I would say put me on edge, but I was not.
Really? Which one? Give us an example.
For example, like there's that one that we do called First Dates, which we basically, the idea of that is we ask an audience member.
You do with me?
Yeah, so we done this with yourself.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So we ask an audience member, hopefully if it's a couple, we ask both of them, tell us about the first time you met. And the reason why that puts me on edge is because we don't know what you're gonna say. Right. So we have to remember and listen to everything as well. And then play back that whole part of that performance in the theater, and make sure that we make it funny, make sure that we remember everything, make sure we still get some stuff. And I think that's the thing, like that's for me, that's the purest form of improv, I think, like playback in that sense.
Okay.
It's still, because we don't know where it's going to go on it, because we not that it's happened yet, but someone could come out with a random story, and then how do you like go back from that? Because
you're like, what the
whack it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like where do you take from that? So I think that's the thing that we're training. We're training how to be alert, agile. So when you're performing on the night, you can basically like duck, dive, capture the little comedy gems. That's it. I don't know what analogy I'm using. I don't know what sport that is.
It's fine. Don't worry.
When I was watching Sunny, for me, the bit where you guys did the rapping, that's the bit where I was like, yo, like, okay, there's some bits where you don't mind us talking about the show on here, do you?
No, it's cool, man. It's
right. So the bit like where you had Gopi and the other guy, and they were like doing the one voice thing.
Yeah.
Like that bit. I was like, okay, fine. I can see how that works. That way you can practice that a little bit. But when you rap, I was like, that is just complete. Like rapping is not easy, man. To make the rhymes and stuff like that for me was like, yo, this is really good. And to make rhymes that are like really catchy and everyone's there like clapping and shit and like getting excited. I remember Gopi had that one on the day, something about smoke a bit of weed and chill or something. And everyone was just really happy, man. And you had some, you like talking about working in like Tesco or Sainsbury's or something. And you're just ripping it, man. That for me was like, yo, this is talent. Like really, really, that looked hard to me, but you don't say that's not the hardest thing for you, like rapping.
But that's the thing as well, because it's, as you said as well, it's purely improv as well. So I mean, there's probably has been times when like I'm doing a rap and it's probably just landed flat. But I think as I said as well, it's kind of a thing where you do have to prep a certain amount in terms of rapping anyway, like not in terms of you have your bars laid out, but you basically, it's kind of like you get your rhyme book, but that, I mean, not that I'm speaking like, but I'd imagine most of the famous rappers in the world have got a
Have a
rhyme book.
rhyme book. That's it.
You know what I mean? They've got
Something,
the rhyme,
yeah.
you know, they have to do it, like and because I've watched like rap battles and live and all that. You kind of
And
realize
roast
that
battle and stuff, yeah.
exactly. You kind of realize when people have probably pre-written lines and they're just spurting them out, but then you kind of realize the other MC who haven't done that, who are literally interacting with the environment and commenting on the words that the other person said, incorporating.
Yeah,
that
the real
into-
talent I find is the guy who goes second. It's not the guy who goes first, because the guy who goes first is something pre-rehearsed. The person who's reacting to the stuff that was said to him, and when they don't do a callback to what the other person said, I'm like, you dropped the ball because they gave you opportunities and you didn't take them up on it, which means you haven't come correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with for our preparation for that as well, it's literally just freestyling like a million situations, but we're basically just testing our flow and our ability to rhyme words as well. So you know, you do and you know, thanks for your compliments as well, man. Like we do put a lot of effort into making sure that the shows bang as well, because we want people to, like, you know, enjoy the shows because it is entertainment as well. But at the same time as well, it's kind of weird because you don't ever want to get to the point where you've pre-rehearsed everything, because then it's just not just a normal show, but then it's it's not improv. So it's that, and this is what I probably do enjoy it as well, the whole thing, because it's that element to danger where we know we can only prepare so much, and then afterwards, just whatever the audience thought of us, we gotta literally think on our feet. So and you know, like in real life, man, you can prepare how much you want, but as soon as you're in the situation, you know, you got a plan until you're punched in the face or something like that.
Mike Tyson,
that's the phrase.
Everyone has a plan.
Got a plan until they get punched in the
I've
face.
been reading too much of those Instagram quote pages. Somebody stop me.
Someone's sitting there on their like hashtag quote of the day Instagram feed. Yeah, the hashtag is flicking through. Oh, I love this, man. Love this.
This is me, man. This was made for me. It's talking to me. This one.
No, but I mean, how do you? I mean, but that's it, man. But thanks, you know, to be honest with you, I love music, man. Like I want to get to a point where rapping like Punjabi words, or even like doing Boliyan on it.
That's a skill, man. I think it's only today. Sukshinda Shinda in that really old album.
What, the song Sony Lagadi, that one, where he did like that full rap. Yeah.
I think that's the
I've
only
heard
Punjabi
remixes
rap
of that like take the piss, but yeah.
But that's hard, like rapping in
Sonny knows what I'm on about, innit?
Bohemia's done it before, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't, you know, I'm so out of touch with the music nowadays, man.
Because you're making your own music, that's why.
It's like, but that's what I mean. That's the next level we want to get you to, and there's another thing as well. Like, I'd love to bring more musical, because music is such a massive part of like our heritage and like our culture. Why not? Why not have like Tumbi players, and why not have like, you know, singing and doing Boliyan, like, because even the Boliyan old as well, man.
That'd be mad.
Like, you know, you remember at weddings when like the Nanke shock and the Nanke would come in and all that, and you got the relatives just there like
giving it 10.
Yeah, literally cussing each other, saying everything.
Cuss battle.
And they're literally having a cuss, and you know, like that kind of stuff is amazing. And when you're there watching it, and they're literally improvising as well.
Yeah.
Although it's as well, because like nowadays, I think they hire people to get someone coming in.
It's true.
Like, she's got rhymes and she's got rhymes.
Yeah, literally is that.
So like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like even those guys are improvising as well. Like they're literally like saying something about someone, mama, chacha, or whatever, innit? Having to go out there, Nanke. And I think that's the thing. Like, it'd be beautiful to bring that element in as well, because we always think like, how can I make the games a bit more culturally?
Do you know what? That would be a great sketch, man. Do a sketch where you get like the non-Punjabi people in your crew to be like, right, at Punjabi weddings, this is what happens, right? The boy side come and the girl side come. So now start cussing each other. We'll teach you a few Punjabi words in the middle as well. That'd be lit, man.
That's what I mean. Like, and I think that's the thing as well. Like trying to create these improv sketches and scenarios that basically reflect on the things that we're feeling. Because I don't know, man. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, or give me guys your opinion on this, but for me, I still feel like as great as it was, and I still love it to this day. Goodness gracious me, it always feels like there's nothing that hit our culture
since
any better than that, man. Since that,
yeah.
Like,
mainly because everyone's spaces of trying to find those things now have sort of just broken off into different streams. So you can find that in podcasting, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can find it in many different ways and platforms. So there's not one person. It's sort of like it's all been divided and spread across loads of different places. But in terms of like a mainstream outlet or a mainstream representation, it's not there. But I don't think the world needs to have that in that direction anymore when it comes to content or skits. You can sort of get more exposure on a broader scale, not on TV. If you see what I mean?
No, you absolutely.
Just Rain is a perfect example.
Just Rain is a good example.
Just Rain, AK Amazing, like all those guys.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that's it as well. So I think you're absolutely right. I think that's but I suppose that's the great thing as well, because I think with this guy as well, like I'm trying to. It's kind of weird as well, because you want to obviously put something else on social media as well, but at the same time, it's the magic happens when you're live on stage.
Yeah, you can't just take snippets out because it's not in the same context.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's always been a thing as well. Like, how do we, how do you get this magic getting on stage? Because we basically recently started filming some sketches. I've just improvised sketches on the spot, so we're gonna get those put out as well on our social media network. But we always watching back. I was watching back, and I was laughing to myself, thinking that I know that when we done this, this particular sketch or this particular show, we always know that the audience is like it's a whole different atmosphere. And I think that's the thing, like doing something live as well, especially with like improv comedy, is that moment that you share with everyone else and the the people on stage as well. That moment there is just like
one off.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like it's like you literally trying to go back to recreate that. You can't. And I think that's something that we find as well, that each show is like is unique like that as well. Like it's not the same. I know I got an issue with that as well, but sometimes like
type
when
of humor.
Exactly, yeah. When you got like the same
Desi crowd in it. Zorod, laddu.
That's cool, man. I think that's it, man. I think it's nice to have a show that's always unique and always different, and I think that's what I enjoy about it. I think that's what we're trying to do as well. We're trying to push ourselves, as I was saying as well. But I think you're right, though. I think like the fact that people can just pick up a camera phone and just start doing comedy as well, literally in the bedroom. Why not, man? Like that's the best thing in it. You know what I mean?
Breaking down barriers and leaving the bar to entry as low as possible. Next question I got for you, Sonny, is how do you guys sort of afford the venue costs? Because you've obviously hired out places like the Rep, the Hippodrome. How do you guys cover that without people having to put up their own money, say for yourself, to put yourself potentially in debt? That's obviously something that would be a bit worrying.
So when I first started this as well, like I self-funded the whole thing. Like I was making sure that make sure that everyone was getting paid, make sure that the venue. So when I first started, I was hiring out the old Joint Stock Theatre as a dry hire. So that means you just get the venue space, got to do ticketing, everything myself.
Right.
So the very first show, it was like literally, getting flyers printed, getting flyers designed, photo shoot, getting the people paid for their time, get the actors paid for the rehearsal time, show fees. Because I thought to myself, okay, look, I'm taking this project on, I want to do it professionally, I want to make sure everyone's paid on it. And from then as well, I had a thing on. I had a caveat as well saying that, look, I'm going to pay, because not many people, black and brown people, get to work or get as much work in this industry. My thing was to make sure that I'm hiring people for Jumprov who are black and brown, in terms of designers, photographers, sound people. And even when I've done that, the venue was, the venue is white owned, and they in the end as well, like that was fine. But I guess what I'm saying is that even the arts is even if you did try to go a whole route around, I'm going to hire so many black and brown people in a situation, the arts it doesn't still have a venue that's just all strictly for black and brown people, which is, I mean, I suppose we did have we still got it as it's been rebranded as Legacy Center, the Excellence Center, Legacy Excellence Center. But I guess what I'm saying is that was when we first started, and for a whole year, that's how I ran it. I ran it where I was like paying for the different venues, making sure that we had, that was covered. But I kind of realized that the return on investment wasn't great.
Yeah.
So we had to basically then scale back on certain things, look for venues that were offering us like free rehearsal space, free performance space as well. So then I think you guys, did you come down to some shows when we do that serve the table tennis place and ping pong place?
Yes, that
Yeah.
that table tennis space. I remember that. Yeah, we came there.
Oh, yeah.
That was in like a separate side room, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we basically I cut a deal with those guys as well, and I said, look, you know what, we can bring some people in, get us a free drink and ping pong and a show ticket, and I said, look, wrap that in for £10. You know, that'd be great for us. That'd be great for you guys as well. So just literally realizing that, you know, first self-funding it, and then realizing, okay, look, I can't keep doing this because it's going to put me. Then cutting a deal, trying to be a bit more smart with it. And then it took us to basically a space where, even though we were doing a lot of this work, a lot of it was like a lot of like, everyone was putting the time in at this time now, because it was got to a point where I was like, I can't really afford to keep paying everyone, but everyone's like, look, we still want to do it because we're still having fun, we're still learning. I was like, fair enough. So then we took it to a space where, you know, people are recognizing what we were doing, and then that goes back to then the theaters started noticing, like the Hippodrome and the Rep started noticing. They're like, okay, wow, Jumprov, okay, we want to hire you guys on because we're doing a
wow. So they approached you.
Yeah, so they were like,
nice.
yeah, we
amazing, man.
We want you guys in our festivals, we want you guys in our thing because it's about representation, it's about local people, it's about something different. They were like, yeah, we'll take you on. We want to do something with you. So there was times, I think when we first kind of shot the Birmingham Rep, I went in, spoke to the team. They're like, yeah, we want you guys in. Second time around, they're like, yeah, we'll take you guys on. So when we started in the bigger theatre, luckily we didn't have to hire them out. They approached us, and even with the Hippodrome as well. So our producer Jade Samuels, she basically, I think, probably one of the first or even second people to manage to get Arts Council funding for a improv company.
Wow.
Other than that, it's just no one ever seems to get that funding. So she done an amazing job there, smashed it, and then also like you know, set up the links to the Hippodrome as well. So I was like, yeah, I just think as well is like in terms of my leadership style is just saying, look, like just letting people just get on with the stuff. Like, okay, you guys, you know, get on with that, crack on with it, because it's all like pushing the cause forward. You know what I mean? So luckily, I don't have to hire out the Hippodrome. So that's a deal that we cut. We got Arts Council funding for that. They're happy to get us on board as well because they, you know, trying to do more stuff in terms of make sure that they're connecting with the community, make sure they're connecting with diverse acts across Birmingham, across the UK. Because as I keep saying as well, like there's only some shows, and what I find is that it's a lot of the theatres would always put the one or two plays on. Nothing's wrong with these plays are great, man. Like East is East as a play is amazing, it's funny, it's hilarious, but you sometimes want to see something more, you want to see something different. This is a thing where it's great that the theatres are acknowledging that, and they are pushing towards, you know, either hiring us or hiring new plays, new writers, and then people to write different things. So that's the journey in terms of how we managed to get there, and luckily not hire it, because that would be a lot. I did look into some of these
money, mate.
It was, man. I did look into some of the prices, man. They were coming back like one night, man. Like at one point they were saying one of the theaters, and that wasn't even the main stage, man. This was like one of the smaller spaces. I think coming about $6,000. Like,
just put in context, like the Hippodrome, when we saw the Hippodrome, that little studio.
It was I think at the time it was the Rep, and you could just do like a dry hire. So you basically hiring everything, but then if you want to control the lights, that's the fee as well. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, the theaters are business as well. Like, fair enough, innit? But the best way is to get programmed is to approach them. You know, do you have something that fits their ethos? Do you have something that's different? Do you have something, you know, just to yeah. So that's the way, man. So yeah, it was. So
you guys on retainer, or like was it an ongoing contract, or like how does it work?
Yeah. So basically, you know, we chatted with them, sat down with them, and basically the idea was that, you know, let's have a few shows, let's see how they go. And they're loving it. They're loving the fact that they're seeing different people in the theatre as well. They're loving the fact that, you know, it's basically getting people who have never been into the door before. and that was a massive thing as well that I wanted to do for theatre as well, because
Oh, okay. So for them, it's marketing, I guess, as well. They come to Hippodrome to watch your show. They may come back to watch another show,
exactly,
attracting new clientele. It's good.
because even when I first started as well, like the old joint stock at the time, they wouldn't, you'd rarely see like a few black and brown faces in come see the shows. And the idea was that, you're bringing people in from different backgrounds. A lot of people were like, you know what, we always walk past this place. Or a lot of people, the old joint stock is a massive like bar that used to be a bank downstairs, and people like realized that there was a theatre upstairs.
Right.
So I think, and I think it's a thing where you're absolutely right. Where it's about going into a new space, people realizing that there's these shows available. Watch these shows. There's something new, something different. Like why not?
Yeah, and I've often found something like I said, I like watching comedy, and there's big level, Russell Peters, Chris Rock, that level, right? And then there's what Shindy and I like to do, just find like really local, independent Monday night. Like there's one we went to a few, well, just for lockdown actually. We went every Monday for a couple of weeks basically, and it was just basically comedians testing out their material in this really closed room, but the atmosphere was really, really nice. And for us, you get the same level of enjoyment when it's a big show, you're in a big crowd. That's the level of excitement. But when you're in a smaller crowd and it's intimate, and the jokes are still banging, you're like, that's good as well. And so, yeah, independent like comedy and shows like this is just, it's fantastic.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's a thing as well. Like you're absolutely right. You get a different buzz from it as well when it's intimate more. And that's the thing as well. Like a lot of people forget as well that when some of these big names, man, they started somewhere as well. And it's great to watch people come on a rise, like rising up to a situation, or following their journey through as well. And it's amazing. And it's
giving people a starting position is really important, especially helping them to get into the space. So I'm assuming that when people are aspiring actors, they want to try and get into acting, they might try improv first and then naturally move forward with more confidence into acting afterwards. So there is like a real benefit to actually doing something like this.
And it's always about sorry.
So the Fringe Festival, for as an example, has improv got a place at the Fringe, somewhere like that, or no?
Yeah, of course, man. Like the Fringe is probably Edinburgh Fringe is probably made up of like easily 80%, 90% comedy. Like I don't know where those facts are from, but it's a lot of comedy and it's a lot of improv as well. For us, it's basically a lot of people have said to us, man, get yourself down to Fringe. It's banging. It's gonna be amazing. It's basically just it's just the funding side of it, because it's
as we spoke we found out it's super expensive.
It's like she's like it's 10K before you even hit the stage, man, like minimum. And she's like, you're doing all your kharcha and everything. And
exactly, man, exactly. And it's like it's because I was on to laughing to the team, because I basically done some numbers and I figured out, okay, we can get there, we just raise this much money. Right. And then someone was like, how are we going to raise that much money? I was like, we're going to do a car wash in it.
Improv car wash.
Let's go. Cash in hand, no tracing, everything's good.
That's literally what it was. It was just like, it kind of remind you of like, you've seen Dodgeball, all male car wash, or like,
clean that wheel, boy. Clean that wheel. That's
literally what it was going to be like. But it's mainly down to the kharcha, and I think it's amazing. Like when I first started this thing, I was like, just get it done. I want to be independent, and that obviously had its benefits. First of all, you get it on its feet, you get it action, you get it moving. Independent allows you that autonomy to say, you know what, this is the route we want to go down, or the fact that we're not going affiliations with anyone in particular. Remain independent, focus on what our mission plan is. Getting more black and brown people doing improv, getting more black and brown people watching improv. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like, we've been great as well. We had the people who watched us a few shows and then came in and said, I want to do some as well. And then, like, for example, like Gurpreet, Sheikh, Janelle, Sarah, the members that we got that are basically started doing free classes, because I thought, I thought to myself, a lot of black and brown artists are probably not earning much anyway, from my experience. And if I want to pay forward, give back to the arts community, I'll start doing free improv classes. And obviously, for me, it was great as well, because just passing on the skill to a lot of people, getting in enjoyment as well, and also could keep an eye on people who were smashing it as well. I thought, okay, I'd like to join the group as well. So it kind of for them, the people that I found from there, it was great because I was, I found people that were really good at it, really passionate about it, and were good to get on with as well. Because that's really important as well. Having someone or having a team members that are good to get on with, because it's a lot of it is having that calm and cool exposure off stage and also on stage as well, because it's and that was really important as well. So when you couple that with that passion and excitement for wanting to do comedy and wanting to learn new things, it just creates amazing things when you're on stage and when you're off stage as well. Because you definitely
One of the things that we need to touch on for you, Sonny, is that you obviously got an advert with Barclays and the money manager, playing into the stereotype that up and they don't spend money, but it's cool. I will let it go. How did you score that opportunity? Because that's really big. I mean, with the opportunity, if people watch that advert itself, it's on Sonny's Instagram. It's based in like a big virtual world a little bit, like a lot of the scenes. So I'm assuming that was done in like a green screen, so you had to sort of imagine a lot of it. Just take us through that whole experience.
Yes, that was good. So that was so basically it happened during lockdown, when like lockdown was just like nothing's open, only a few things open, and it was all done like online. So the auditions were online, in a Zoom call, and you just basically have to get that auditions done, smashed it. I had to do it twice, and even then had to do one physical audition. We had to go down to London. And it's weird as well because I'm there in the room and the director was on a Zoom call because the director was based in France.
So hang on,
you went all the way
to London to go and stand
call
in front of a screen with a director on Zoom
in France.
That's pure Sati on us right there, man.
But it is what it is. It's the game in it. It's the game in it. So it was great because even then it's not like for me I loved it because it's the two things I enjoy the most in it. Pretending I'm in a virtual world,
right? Okay.
And money management. So, but the moral of the story is that the guy's spending too much money on taxi, on transport, on Uber. So he's like have to cut down on that.
Right.
So that's how he realizes they can pay for his bill. And although given the high cost of living, he's gonna have to walk everywhere.
He's gonna have to get a bike soon, ASAP. Cycle to work scheme. Let's go. Get yourself on that, man.
So basically, that the thing with the commercials, like it's like a massive fast turnaround. So as soon as like I done that in-person audition, and they were like, yeah, we want Sonny, and he just literally went from there to wardrobe fitting, where you go in, you try your kapde on, or they try and close on you, they see now everything fits.
Did you get to pick anything or keep anything?
No, because they literally like it's funny though because you basically turn up and they're like, yeah, try these clothes on, and I was obviously during lockdown as well. And I was thinking, bloody hell, kuch match nahi hota, man, what's happening here?
Like Balwant Taylor nu bula tu hai, enu khol de, loose cut de, ladies do suits.
I know, man. I was like, put a panel on this, man, but the one was like, oh no, it's fine, and it will just so the great thing is that is like,
tenu CGI kar denne assi.
I was like, just do that, just do that, man. But nowadays, so they, you get your wardrobe fitting done as well, and then that particular advert was shot over like 4 days. So I went to London, stayed in a hotel,
Nice.
and it's basically you're literally going on set. And this was obviously during peak COVID time as well. So I was the only person. I was wearing a mask, but obviously when they were shooting, I wasn't wearing a mask. But everyone fully masked up, hand gels, like galore and everything as well. And it was funny as well because it was like literally I didn't know what anyone looked like. And then the few times when someone would take the mask off, you'd get like a shock because you'd be like, oh my god, that's what you look like. And
so it's still happening just in hospitals. Honestly, you work in the NHS. There was one medical student, I always remember this, proper lockdown 1 year. And there was this it's a medical student with me, 50th year. There was a nurse, right? And she was like, oh, Jazz, I thought this male nurse is really good looking. And she's like, I thought he looks a bit like George Clooney. And she goes, then he put his mask down and he looked like the guy from Friday Night Dinner. And she was like, he doesn't look like George Clooney, man. He was like from here to here, man. I was like, bloody hell. But this is the thing for the mask in it. Some people, you're so used to it. Like, and I think there was a thing about how people look more attractive with the mask on, especially ladies. Ladies, like they have their eyes done and everything. And then they drop the mask and you're like, Yeah, put the mask back on.
Give me that mystery back, you know?
Yeah, it's a that's what it is. It's mystery. You're just like, what is behind the mask in it?
You
That's
can
what you're
imagine
asking.
it. That's it.
That's just Bundy in general, though, isn't it? Like,
What
it's the
is
eyes
it?
that nice. Everything else must be nice, isn't it? And then, yeah, man. But
Dude,
anyway,
the
Eyes
key
must be
parameter.
nice. Everything else must be nice.
Garson, the key parameter to how a lady is, it's her fingers, man. The nails. If the nails are well kept on a lady.
What kind of girl doesn't keep their nails? I thought that's standard amongst most girls.
No.
Maybe not doctors, because obviously you need to wash your hands all the time. But
Nay, I'm not sorry. I'm not talking about like the skin. I'm not about the actual nail part. Looking after the nails is like a key. It's very rare you're going to see the feet. The feet are even better indicator, right? But it's rare. Like
are we learning the girl has a foot fetish? Okay.
No. I'm not. These are not fetish. These are KPIs. Okay, lady KPIs.
Oh my god, KPIs.
KPIs.
Jesus.
Okay. Indy, next time you got to get to the third, man. You got to take the jutti off and you be like, show me. Sonny, you're still dating, yeah? Next time you go on a date, you just be like, show me your feet,
Sonny,
okay?
what you want to do is you want to say to her, okay,
you want to go, can you go 12 bottles of bleach?
We're going to go to the Gurdwara, yeah? No shoes and no socks on. Let's walk and go to Matha Dekhan. Yeah, right. That's the easiest way you can do it.
Matha Teke, just say to her, can you just do that scene from 4 Lines? And can I have 12 bottles of bleach? And you just see how she looks at it. And you got Akhan Deriti, yeah? They're all pointing the right way.
Oh man,
that's. I'll try that on Thursday and I'll see what's happening on Thursday.
You got a date Thursday? You got a date Thursday. Oh my god, you must do so much improv on your date, man. You must just turn up and be like, menu ta Prime Minister blonda. Yeah. I'm a big man, man.
I thought you looked been stalking me on my dates. No, I'm gonna do that.
Oh no! All right. Thursday. Tell her you made the vaccine. जिला vaccine है ना मैं बनाया सी करी तड़का तुड़का पाके ना vaccine बनाती हूँ मैं.
Oh man, going back to the point then. So you've obviously seen how people are with like a mask on and stuff, and then you get to see their face. Yeah.
So it was basically, you know, the whole experience, right? It was amazing how it's literally. So we had an actual built house as well. So we had a house that was like fully like you literally walked in, you would have thought it was someone's house. Wow. And I thought there was like I never knew what the production was doing, so I thought we were going to be filming in someone's house. So I turned up to the studio a lot, and it's basically near where, you know, like you've watched The Apprentice and you got the loser's calf.
Yeah.
And it's near there. I walked past and I thought that calf is literally near there, man. Like it's on like a studio lot. That calf is just the opposite of studio lot. So I walked in and I was there and I said to the guys, so what are the guys building over there? And so we're building the house that you're going to be in for the shoot.
Wow.
So I was like, that's weird, isn't it? Yeah. So they built an entire house and you literally walk in and it's like, I had to send them pictures as well because they said to me as well, oh, can you send some family pictures of myself that they can put around the house?
Oh my God.
Jesus, man. Someone's done that, you know, and they take it home as memorabilia thinking when this guy's famous, I'm going to have pictures of him and his family, right?
I think they probably saved it for the next time they get like a brown person.
He's a continent
family, same family, Vicky family.
Yeah. But the amount of level of detail that was going on in this house, man, they basically built the house. So when you're watching the advert, it's me literally walking around the real house. So a lot of people thought, oh, I filmed in a proper house or I filmed in my house.
Right.
Because they were like, oh, did you just film that during lockdown because you were at home? And then there's parts of it where I was on a green screen, but I was also on like a 12-foot platform. Wow. So basically I'm on a 12-foot platform and it's that dangerous. Basically I had to get like a safety harness.
Oh my God.
with a cable as well. Yeah, massive cable as well. And I literally spent like half the day just literally on that stage, just doing the performance. So that was an experience as well, because you're right, I had to imagine a lot of that stuff as well. And a lot of it, and this is where I was happy where I've done a lot of improv as well, because we improv literally like start to finish. Like we obviously had like what we were going to do in terms of script, but even then we were going off the script. And then a lot of the improv takes that we were doing, and me and the director were doing, and having a laugh with as well, just made it into the final edit as well. So it was interesting as well. Like there was like a few bits where like we're just messing around, just trying different takes, trying different ways, and he made it into the final shot. And this is what I say to a lot of actors as well, that definitely go and do something like improv, because
Mm.
when the director's got you 1 or 2 takes, they might want you to try something different. And when you
Yeah.
try something different, something else might come out of it as well.
Mm.
You never know. I think what was interesting though and I don't know if it was because it was a particular company, but a lot of the international companies, they had, like, when we were filming, normally it's just the director looking at, the dailies or watching it back or whatever. And they had like an entire committee, but it was an international committee of people working at Barclays. And they had like easily like people from like all around the world, like they're saying international call, then people like America, New York, like Japan apparently as well, just watching. And then I think one of the other like tech people laughing, they're saying, "Oh, you must be stressed, man. A lot of people are watching." I was like, you know what? I'm not, man. Like, don't even like. Just don't even think about that, because then you will start feeling stressed. Then you think,
They gave you like a pure acid test, the whole thing. They said, like, right, you're improv, but let me see your improv base again, and then you obviously pulled it off.
And that's what it was. It was great because, to do a shot, and we were basically just doing so many takes, so many different variations, so many different things, making things up. I probably shot. It's the way they do things. Like I probably shot enough that you could have like 3 parts of that advert with so many different things in it. But obviously, in the end, just used what was there.
4 days for 1 minute commercial. Doesn't that make you think like, wow, that's so much time?
Yeah. But it's like when they were, like, for example, like they were filming like groups, like bits where the groups are doing stuff as well. They're filming like close-ups. They're filming so many things, and like there were 4 long days as well. Like we had I thought it was amazing though. Like when I was a kid, I wouldn't have thought of doing any acting at all.
Yeah.
And they had like young child actors who were like literally just coming in, rocking it, doing their thing on the day of the shoots.
Chilling.
And I was thinking, I love your confidence, man. I was like, I needed that when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
I think I loved as well is that the fact that obviously, they had me as the dad, and then the fact they had kids that were like brown as well. Like it was great because obviously they're getting like, them and their parents are getting like getting money for it, getting like getting the representation out there. You know what I mean? And it was wicked. And I was just speaking to some of the mums as well, and I was just thinking like, man, that's awesome, man. Like how like these kids are like just got that confidence, that passion just to go there and do stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have thought of being like how like I can't remember all the 4 or 5 and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have the coordination at 4 or 5 to that kind of stuff, man.
Coordination. Oh, menu potty hai, yeah.
You know what I mean? These kids were full on
Next level pressure and that, man.
Yeah. Disciplined.
That's what I mean, proper thing, man. I was like, wow. But no, to be honest, most of the adverts have been shows like this. It's mad. Like the acting game is what it is, man. Like you're lucky to get something, and when you get something, it's just it's a wicked experience. Like
cling on to it as well, man, and milk it for as much as you can get.
Like another advert that I done was a Cadbury's commercial where they used be dancing on the chairs, and that was one I done a while ago. But it's like a massive fun time shooting it as well. And I think it's, to be honest with you, in the end, I actually kind of enjoyed and I still do enjoy doing these adverts because it's like literally, you got a minute, and it's generally comedy as well. You got something that can convey something in a minute, or you got to get something.
Yeah.
And they're always out there as well. They're like, they're fun adverts that are weird, wonderful. You know what I mean? So, it's a good happy balance for myself, man.
If drugs ever get legalized, I'll wait for the advert view and go pee together on it.
That'd be great.
That's when you do your bully.
That's it, man. Gotta get that started.
Oh man.
Well, Sunny, thank you, man. It's been a real pleasure to have you on. And people that want to find out where you are, tell people where you are, and tell people how to find the show.
That's awesome, man. So you can basically check us out on jumprov.com. That's JUMPROV, I think.
Yeah.
You think 5 years in the game, you don't know how to spell your own.
I don't know, because no one will be like, and social medias as well. You can check out at Jumprov, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. Tickets are going to go live soon for our next show, but just check those out. We're always going to have a detailed on our shows there as well. And yeah, man, just come and support us if you're in Birmingham, even if you're local around the Midlands. Come and enjoy what we're doing as well. Come and see us either fly or fail, but either way, it's going to be fun. Either way, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
You know what
amazing,
you're gonna
right?
get.
And sit on the front row, guys. You got to sit on the front row, man. You get the best
Absolutely,
experience.
man. We'll get you we'll
Involved.
get involved in the game, innit? But also, I was asking is that when you did get involved, man, was you okay? You didn't feel like was it
Lit,
too
man.
intrusive, or was it?
No. If I'm honest, like it's all the intimate comedy shows we go, we always try and get involved anyway. I like being picked on.
Mm.
I was like, if you want to pick on someone, like just come in it. Like I like the to and fro. So yeah, it's just really good, man. It just makes that night special. Like I said, it was our anniversary that day anyway. And we'll always remember that, like we were there, and it's just it's really good. Yeah.
You're asking a rare person there, a very confident banda, if he was comfortable, right?
I told Gopi's dad was there, Sunny, and I was like, "Oh, uncle, come to the front row." He's like, "No, they're gonna pick on me. They're gonna pick on me.
They're gonna come to me, bro."
But no, but I was gonna say, man, yeah, thanks for this as well, man, and thank you guys for coming and supporting us as well. It's been amazing as well.
No problem, man.
Have you guys supporting us, and this as well, man. It's been great.
Give us a shout when tickets are out. We'll post it on our socials as well for you. Yeah.
Definitely, man. Thank you so much, man, guys.
No
Leave it
worries.
to it, man. Enjoy your evening. Take care, man.
Will
Okay,
do.
brother.
Just
Enjoy your
hang on
date,
one
man.
sec. I need to do the intro with you. Yeah, but hang on. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Need to wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks for making
thanks
it die
for listening.
today.
Give us a shout on your thoughts on the episode. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and drop us a message with your thoughts on the episode. We'll catch you guys
And
next
tell
week.
us
Cheers.
something funny that Sunny should say on his date, right? Some improv. I've just thought of one now. I'm going to tell Sunny now. Sunny, you say to her, "Tenu pata corona ke main shuru hai, main pad mara coronavirus ho gaya." That's what
There
you're
you
going to
go.
say.
That's it. Done.
ठीक है? Come put your funniest comment. Sunny's going to say. He's going to say to his
Exact
date.
lingo, just
ठीक है?
like that. Same cadence,
Just like
same
that.
point, everything.
ठीक है?
Bas.
Wicked, man.
That's a yeah. All right. Cheers, guys.